Greetings and salutations! Thank you for lending an ear to the voice of the times for Friday, July 22, 2022. For today's editorial, time to crank up COVID booster shots. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. wants 23 million Filipinos to get COVID-19 booster doses during his first 100 days in office. The President gave the Department of Health, DOH, this target during his meeting with DOH Officer in Charge, Maria Rosario Vergeire, earlier this week. The figure is half of the 55 million individuals who have been fully vaccinated, so the target, as far as Vergeire is concerned, is difficult but doable. The deadline is October, so up to 400,000 people a day must get a booster shot during that time. The health department has its work cut out for it because only about 15 million have received a booster so far. There is an urgency in cranking up the government's booster drive. COVID-19 has been mutating at an astonishing pace. Almost every month a new subvariant surfaces somewhere in the world. Epidemiologists worry that some of the new mutations have the ninja-like ability to mask themselves to prevent antibodies from vaccines from seeking them out. COVID cases in the country have been steadily climbing, and most of the new cases have not received a primary shot, much less a booster. Majority of the infections may not be serious or severe enough to require hospitalization, but that is no reason for the public to let its guard down, health officials constantly remind. They also warn that hundreds of doses of the COVID vaccine in the country's stockpile are due to expire. Unless they are administered soon, the doses will have to be donated to another COVID-stricken country to save them from wastage. That is a clear sign of poor logistical planning on the part of the government, something that hopefully will be resolved when the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council takes over the functions of the Task Force Against COVID-19. Vergeire says the President values the evidence that the first booster will really up the immunity of the population. He also made it clear that vaccination coverage will be a key factor in determining if health restrictions can be relaxed further. The private sector has long been waiting for a green light from the government to go full speed in rejuvenating the economy, but it has been stymied by ambiguous policies such as who should get booster shots. Right now, booster doses are limited to senior citizens and people with comorbidities. That's a small percentage of the population eligible for boosters. The coverage clearly has to be expanded. Go Negosyo founder Jose Maria Concepcion III has zeroed in on the Health Technology Assessment Council for delaying its decision on administering a second booster shot. Concepcion claims that the council, which advises the DOH on what health interventions and technologies to adopt, has been dilly-dallying despite his repeated appeals to have at least 70% of the eligible population jabbed with primary doses and have their booster shots soon after. Widening the vaccination coverage will be even more difficult because the government has ruled out making COVID shots mandatory. President Marcos sees no need for a law or decree requiring COVID primary and booster shots. Vergeire agrees, saying there are other ways of persuasion, such as giving incentives to parents who consent to have their children vaccinated. The opening of face-to-face classes in August will be an especially critical period as far as the government's vaccination efforts are concerned. There are concerns that classrooms could become the perfect environment for the virus to spread. As a precaution, schools are required to set up the necessary safeguards, such as proper desk spacing and an isolation room for students who develop COVID symptoms. Still, the best antidote to keep school children COVID safe is vaccinating them. The DOH plans to set up vaccination sites in schools, but again, parental consent is required for a child to get jabbed. Setting a 100-day target for administering COVID boosters to 23 million people will be a formidable challenge, one that can only be overcome if the DOH, the Department of Education, and other key agencies get their act together. And that's the editorial for Friday, July 22, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the voice of the Times.
Our longest trusted English newspaper since 1898. Now available digitally. Computer. Order the Manila Times Digital Edition. Subscribed. Get the Manila Times Digital Edition for less than 2 pesos and 50 centavos per day when you sign up for 1 year. The Manila Times, news source of choice, trusted since 1898.